Go.
Hey everybody, it's selectionpdq.com. Hey, we are covering lesser known features in PDQ deploying inventory. Lesser known. They're there for you to use. We just find people don't know that they're there. Let's jump in. And Jordan, we're going to start by talking about variables.
Well, I mean, you got to start with the exciting things.
Exciting. So basically get your coffee, guys. Here it comes. Now variables, you can use them in deploy and inventory. There's a couple of different ways to do these. First of all, let me just get rid of a few of these things that I should have got rid of yesterday. Last week we did a group ID collection. Now you'll notice right here, computer group ID equals, and then we have our custom variable. We do that so that we can actually rotate, or change the data in that variable. To build a variable in both deploy and inventory, go into options, variables, and there we go. So here is that group ID. Okay, and again, the variable, I can come in here and change that to a 4, a 3, or a 2. And again, once I exit that, you'll now notice right here, since I referenced that variable in the description, it shows it there, and it has changed. Okay. Also, another place I've used this, we built a report, and it's basically just an application report. Okay. And it references whatever you've typed in the variable. So right here again, I'm referencing that variable right there. If we go to define report, this application report, I just wanted to see what machines have what versions of what specific software. And so instead of having to go into filters and go do this, I can just go right up here and change that from, we'll say Opera to Chrome. We'll see how many different versions of Chrome we've got. And making your lives easier. And again, if you reference these variables in collections and reports, it's one spot to change it for all of these specific machines, or not machines, but reports and collections. So back to my report, kick that off, and did I not save that? It's Opera. What did I do wrong?
It doesn't always update right away, as we've noticed.
Oh, hang on. Nope. Now I'm the mad bomber. I'm flustered. I'm going all over the place. All right. Variables. Boom. Chrome. The app variable. Okay. Again, we will go back to my report. The application report. Oh, it does say Chrome there, and now it's Chrome here. So, again, I did this to make life easier. If you do it right, not like I do, it works a lot better. Any thoughts on that?
Just the real value is I'm just not updating one place. Normally, if you're doing something like in this case, Chrome's kind of
it's an
not easy one to use, but you're going to use it in multiple places, whether it's collections or in deployments or if it's in reports. Mm-hmm. And only having to change one thing to update everything saves you a lot of time.
And again, this is what we do in our collections that we maintain for you guys. You'll notice every single one of these right here, all these are system variables. Okay, that's why the $sign's in there. So when you build a variable, just so you know, okay, it'll automatically put that @ in front of it, which means it's a custom variable. Any other thing we want to talk about in regards to variables?
A big thing that's got me before is when you write the variable, if you don't click out of the variable, it's not going to update all the time.
So Chrome, I should have clicked out of this, probably closed it, make it easier on myself, and then it does update. So, all right, let's now talk about exporting things. I mean, Jordan and I collaborate all the time. And so a lot of times I'll build something, send it to him, and instead of having to obviously rebuild it, I can export it. Now the things that you can export tools, collections, reports, packages, preferences, scan profiles, variables. In fact, you can even export custom fields.
I couldn't even tell you're reading that off of a list.
Could you? You couldn't tell?
No.
My eyes stayed up here the whole time.
Way to give it away.
Dang it.
Give the game away.
All right. Custom fields. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Appreciate you calling me out. Again, here we did build a group ID. Okay. And the reason I used that was so that we could actually do that grouping, and so what you do is you put that in, and then when you open a computer up, you can go in, Daffy Duck in this case. Okay, we go to custom fields. There's that group ID 1. Now you can go in there and type those in by hand if you want. I wouldn't. Okay, what I would do is if you've got an Excel spreadsheet, you can import by using the import wizard. Again, all you've got to do is have the computer name, that's the reference, and then a comma, and then whatever custom field information you want to feed in a comma delimited. So it's computer name, in this case, group ID, and then you map it.
That is the worst centering job I've ever seen.
What do you mean? It was right there the whole time after you said that.
JJ's been getting more hostile about this centering
I'm saying
issue.
a little
You guys have
shocker
been
in
getting
here every
worse
time
about-
something's not centering. You get me?
You've been getting worse about centering, so
Am I getting worse? Pretty much.
maybe it's because you're opening windows that have never been opened before.
That's-
I'll give that one to you.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
the
give me that
import
one?
wizard is not common.
My train's been derailed. Let's take a question while I figure out where I'm at.
Okay. Hey guys, when installing a package, MeshMixer, I get a 1223 error. However, the program did install. When I run the same command on a PC, it works fine. It seems to not like the desktop shortcut creation. The workaround, use a new step to copy a shortcut I created and ignore the error. Is there a better way? Russell K.
Well, Russell, the first thing I would see what a 1223 error is from the vendor. I mean, I'm not really familiar with MeshMaker, but and determine from that what you can do. Now, the other thing you can do, if it does do the install correctly and it looks like you've worked around getting that icon on the desktop, you can put that as a success code in the install. Thoughts on that?
The only thing I could think of is there's something with the permissions on just the local user. So if you ran it as a logged on user, I'd be curious if it still had the same error if it builds the shortcut. Because that still has, it gives you the admin permissions for that one, but it logs in their instance.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know if that will fix it, but I'd just be curious to see if it does. Then we know it's just a permissions issue somewhere in there.
Yeah, give it a try. Give it a try. Do we have another question, or should I?
Is your train back on the rails?
Is my train ever on the rails? Let's be real.
Good point.
All right. Do you want to do another question, or I can talk about some other kind of cool exporty stuff?
We can take another question.
Let's do a question.
All right. Hey, Lex, this question is for you.
Uh-oh.
I would like to install a new 64-bit version of a program. I need to first uninstall the 32-bit version before I can install the 64-bit. How do you recommend I approach this? Should I create a package to uninstall and then another package to install the 64-bit version? Thanks, D. North.
That's exactly what I would do, and then I would nest them. Now, depending on what it is, we do have a bunch of uninstalls in our package library, which I just clicked out of. So let's just say we were gonna, I don't know, Chrome's probably not a good example, 7-zip. We have an uninstall 7-zip, right? So if you look for, if we do happen to have it, here's 7-zip and uninstall 7-zip. So let's say I've already got 7-zip, so I'll download the uninstall. So I've got the two packages, one uninstalls, one installs. Now the nice thing with 7-zip, it will install the correct version for the architecture of the machine. And then what I do is this, uninstall, select 7-zip, and then I create a nested package with those. So it has the uninstall and then the install. You may, I don't know, want to possibly put a sleep step in there in between them. I don't know that it's necessary, but you know, maybe for good measure. To show that you know how to use the sleep step, throw it in.
We got nothing but time.
Nothing but time. Nothing but time.
Oh, I think I know what happened with this centering thing.
What happened with the centering thing?
You installed the latest version.
Oh,
for
that's
Pro?
right.
Broke over center.
By the way, we just came out with a.
That's
new
right,
release.
guys. There's a new version. Grab it. Fixes a few bugs.
We'll promote it right now.
There you go. It's easy. Install it. Just make sure you recenter your screens before JJ gets mad at you.
Did I derail your train again?
Random email. Someone's working. Your screen is not centered.
It's not centered.
Love JJ.
Love JJ.
Love is a strong word.
Boy, I am really clicking all over the place. Okay. Thank you. Let's go back to exporting. So you can export a collection. I'm going to export this super cool group ID. So I'm going to highlight it, right click, and go to export. Again, it's going to ask you where you want to put it. any good UNC path works. We'll drop this on my desktop. There it is. And if you open this guy up, you can see that it's just an XML file. Hey, Jordan,
Yeah.
I was thinking of just modifying this by hand. What do you think?
You'd probably open it in Notepad instead then.
That would be the first thing I should do. Well, let's do that. Open with Notepad. Any suggestions? Don't mess it up. I mean, come on. Beyond the typical.
Well, outside of just the format, if you break that, it's not going to import properly, but just make sure you're changing the right thing that you want to change.
All right, I'm going to try and change the name of this to.
Watch your closures.
Well, you guys are putting the pressure on. Where did I let's see?
No pressure, but don't screw
Don't.
up.
Group
That's
ID. Value.
That's for the path. You want to get the 1, 2 above that.
That one right there. Okay. Dash XML. Boom. All right. I'm going to save it. That's how you edit, guys. With everyone watching. Probably a poor version of that. But now I'm going to show you how to import. Right click. Probably want to right click somewhere here so it drops it and not in a sub, right? Import. We'll go get my super cool from my desktop. Group ID XML. Import it. There it is. Group ID -XML.
I mean, it looks good to me.
I was going to say, I modified some XML.
All right.
Guys, there's a better way. There is a much better way to build collections, and Jordan has built this amazing tool. And kind of happens that we're going to show you how it works. We'll make it available. Is it going to be available in...
I probably should.
Let's make it available.
It's not professional right now.
It's not?
No, I don't like what Jason made me do to it.
Let's just bring it up. So basically, what this is going to do is we have a generic name of your application XML. And if you guys want to build collections like we do, where you have, Chrome, Chrome latest, Chrome uninstalled, Chrome old, right? This is going to help you do that. Basically, I'm going to run this. It's going to ask me for the name of the application variable, application name, variable name for the version, and then the version number. And it's going to create that with variables so that we can import it and have a super cool collection.
Before we run it, can we go into the variables and delete the ones we made with our test run yesterday? I think we kept those in there.
Kept them in there?
I didn't do a good job of cleanup in inventory.
Oh, you didn't?
Way to go.
The shame. All right. That is a good idea. All right. Everybody close your eyes for a second. I'm going to make some variables disappear.
You don't know what we're going to do.
We're not doing Epic Pen. We're not doing Epic Pen.
And we're definitely not doing.
And we're definitely not doing VMware.
That'd be ridiculous.
This is the most professional we have ever been. Wouldn't you say?
Welcome to the Fly by the Seat of Your Pants webcast.
Well, I mean, we could have paid attention, but that seemed like a lot of work, and I was kind of tuned out.
And the other thing I'm going to do, because I know where we're going to end up, I'm going to go to the temp folder, get rid of the ones that we built yesterday. That's not, you guys didn't see that.
Well, there's nothing there.
You didn't see that. All
Don't
right.
worry about it.
Okay. We'll leave that open because we're going to end up going there anyways.
All right, now prepare to be dazzled.
Now, I know it's building the anticipation. That's what it was. Is this open in administrator? Got to run it as admin. All right.
We did one thing right.
We did. All right. Type in the name of the variable. This is the name for your application, right?
This is the variable name, so this would be
the variable name. So this would be, in this case, V.
I hate the questions. Before I had it where there were parameters, and I was requested to remove those, and I did it, and
Okay.
don't like it.
That is the variable that we're going to put the application name in, and because I am such a good typist, check it out, I copied. Now, one caveat, this is going to do, it's not going to do a contains, it's going to do an equals when it builds this. We'll show you that in a minute. Variable name, VM.
For the version.
For the version.
You got a typo in there.
It's not water or weight.
VM weight.
There we go.
Shut up. Okay, thanks, guys.
Yep.
And a version number. Guess what? I'm going to copy that too, because we only have so long for this webcast. Copy. All right, paste. There's a lot of windows opening and closing here.
We did it.
Okay, boom. It worked.
All right.
That's
done.
where it goes.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
It actually goes in that folder that we just should have cleaned out earlier. Right there in C temp, okay? Now I'm just going to drag that to the desktop because it's going to be easier for me to go find it when I import it and minimize a bunch of stuff. And now we are going to, once again, right-click, import our super cool VMware tools. And if we did this right, I've got 43 machines with VMware tools. As I expand this, there's the ones with the latest version.
That variable will update in a bit. It's just not instant.
Yep, we're hitting it pretty hard here. And variables again are right here under variables. Look, it actually made the variables. Look, it made the variables for us. All right.
All right.
I'm on a roll today.
We're doing good. Yeah, it's just a quick way to get a collection where instead of having to build all of it, it'll give you the latest, old, and ones that don't have it installed. Similar, following the same path that we have for our existing collections.
Yeah. All right, closing that so that next time I click on variables, I don't have to find the thing. All right, so there it is. Now, we also found out in our travels that you can actually nest. You can reference another variable from a variable.
Which comes in handy for something like EpicPen.
Or say 7-zip that have got the version number in the name. Now, I was definitely not smart enough to, I'm going to actually copy this before we get too far. But, so let's go to the computers that I've got EpicPen on it, which would be, I think, Rick Sanchez 2.
Microverse 2.
Microverse
Careful
2.
now.
Quit messing with JJ stuff, Microverse 2.
Those are mine.
We're not actually doing anything to them. We're just using them for their collection.
All I can say is JJ's watched me do this. I'd be afraid too. So
Is EpicPen just way too close to EpiPen?
EpiPen, it could be
It's a lot cheaper.
As in free.
because it's free. But you notice that has the version name or the version number in the name, right? And then I'm also going to grab just the version there. Copy, paste into my little notepad. Now we're going to do this and reference a variable in it and see what happens. So once again,
Because we discovered this yesterday, I haven't put in the logic to trim the title of the collections, so you'll have to do a little bit of manual after, but I'll get that added.
Epic, we're just going to call this Epic var because that's about as far as I can spell. Okay, and then I'm going to copy the name, the entire name, because it is going to search for that whole thing as an equals. Copy, paste.
We're never going to get you guys on VS Code.
You were supposed to replace the version with the variable.
Can I break this?
You hit stop.
Stop.
It hasn't built anything yet. It's just asking questions.
All right, let's do it again. This is why I'm having, okay, Epic var. Now, this one I'm going to go here.
Goodness gracious. Well,
Don't worry about it. Just keep going.
No. You guys are making fun of me. Epic var.
I don't know why, but I'm going to stop it.
There we go. Now I'm going to paste in the name, but I am going to go in here and take that version out. And I'm going to, what are we going to name the version? And you better tell me to spell it right, because if we reference a
We're
version.
going to put in whatever we're going to name the variable next. So it's
it will put an at on it.
at,
So I need the at, open
parentheses,
parentheses,
and then whatever you're going to name the variable,
super easy, epic ver.
and then closing parentheses. There we go.
Okay.
You're good.
Am I good?
That's the one.
Am I? Okay.
As long as that's what you put in for the name of the version.
I'm not sure I can do that, but we'll try. Epic ver. So now I'm building that variable that this is going to reference. And then we're going to paste in, again, just that version.
So
Okay, go ahead, Jordan.
Alexander's asking if it will be in bonus content at some point. Yeah, I should throw it up there. It's just I want to do it differently, but that's not up to me.
I would prefer that we put this out there right away.
Okay, I will put it up.
Go ahead and put this on GitHub. I'll put it on the YouTube description, so anyone watching after the fact and those that are watching now can go to this video in YouTube and reference this.
Yeah. This is super cool. I mean, I love this.
Right, yeah.
All right, you'll notice the new name of this is EpicPen version at epicver XML. Again, I'm dragging it to the desktop because asking me to find it twice is going to be too difficult. All right, do you think I can do it? Right click.
I believe in you.
I believe
Import.
in
You
too.
believe in me? EpicPen version. We're grabbing it. Give it an OK. Now check it out. There's microverse. Okay, as I expand it, what it does do is it does put that at in the title. it doesn't expand the variable in the title. So to actually make this look kind of sexy, other than the fact it did it every way we wanted, I'm just going to go in and take this out. I probably could have like collected it all and hit delete once, but working on my typing skills. Epic pen, and again, same thing here. We just take that out of the title there. Okay, and it now has built this again to reference that variable.
Yep. So I do need to put logic in there that basically says look for probably the @ symbol, which isn't going to be common in an application name, and say if it has that, then trim everything after that.
Is there a way to strip this out in the XML?
That's what the logic I'm going to put in the XML is basically after you finish it, it builds the XML, but I'll have it go through and do a search, and if what we enter has the @ symbol for adding the version, it'll strip it out from only the titles instead of from everywhere.
Sanity check.
Okay, what I highlighted right there is the version. Now check this out. This is the variable, okay, equals epic var. Okay, and we go look at the variable in here, epic var, right there, references epic var, which is right below it.
Very
Kinda
confusing,
cool.
though.
Yeah?
The var and the ver throwing me off a bit.
It should.
Maybe we can finish those terms like version.
I mean, you can put whatever you
variable.
want for the
You
names.
can.
Yeah.
But come on, JJ. Realistically, you want me to try and type any more than 3
Want to
letters?
make things. Well, I'm just worried. Like, okay, so you're typing an A and an E. I don't know if you're
Name of the application we're looking for,
yeah.
and version.
I don't know if you made a typo. If you did that on purpose.
Okay, you got me there.
All right.
And I still left my highlight up. Okay, so we'll make that available, guys. It is super cool. Jordan, rock star. You and Ozzy.
Yeah, so Jason asked me to build that.
Uh-huh.
It feels like a year ago, and I just kept ignoring him.
Did he? And you finally did it?
I did.
I love it. Okay, that was kind of a long-winded way about showing you how to build automatic collections that are kind of cool. Questions?
Sure. We have quite a few, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
Hey, guys, I'd like to get columns in PDQ Inventory to show what AD site a computer is assigned to and what the primary DNS server is configured as. What's the best way to accomplish that? Thanks, Jay Bax.
Hey, Jay. All right. So this screen that's shown right here is fields that are, there we go, the one that's shown right here now, are fields from the computer table, okay? The only way to get custom fields in the computer table is custom fields. So again, if we were to go in and take a look, I think I've got a group ID field in here. There it is. You can add that. Then we'll go fix it, put it up at the front so everybody can see that. Group ID. So you're going to want to put in custom fields, populate those fields, then you can view it right up front on that front screen. Jordan, any other thoughts?
No, if you're going to be doing that for every machine, that's a good time to use the import tool that you showcased earlier.
Thank you. Definitely import tool. Got another question?
Dear Lex and Jordan, what are some best practices to deal with Windows 10 feature updates? Derek O.
Hey, Derek. Now, community. We got blogs out in the community forum on how people have done it. Okay, you can do it. I've done it. We don't, and here comes the air quote, officially support it. Here's why. Okay, in the middle of that feature update, there is a reboot. We can't control it. So if along that process it does that reboot on a slow machine and it goes 10%, 20%, 30%, and times out, we're going to give you it failed, when in all actuality it probably just finished and took longer than than you expect in PDQ. That's the first. We don't like giving you bad data ever. The second would be this. Have you ever done a feature upgrade where you've had driver issues? I've blue screened a machine before doing an upgrade. Okay, you're going to run into that here and there. So understanding that, I would say do this. If you're going to do feature upgrades, go ahead and do them. Remember the caveats, and if you do them, I would say do a handful at a time so that if you do have a bad day, it's only kind of a bad day, not a really bad day. Jordan, anything to add to that?
Yeah, the actual process isn't all that different from just doing like the Patch Tuesday updates. It's just the timing is something that we can't account for with our product. So it's it will work with our product just fine. It's just you might want to set in something to go in after and rescan to make sure everything was successful.
You know, set your inventory scan because you'll get to see them move in your collection library from your Windows 10. You know, you'll get to watch them move from here. You know, move from 1903 up to 2004. So you would be able to catch them there. So good point.
You really
Do you want to do another question, or should I talk about run modes? Run modes?
tough choice. Let's do run modes.
Run modes.
And we'll take a question after.
I know
All right.
I'm interested.
You're interested? Run modes.
I'm
Yep.
interested.
Take a big hard drag on that coffee. All right, I'm going to deploy 7-zip. Deploy once. Check it out. Run as. You drop that down. We have the package user setting, which in this case is deploy user interactive, local system logged on user. Now, I could tell you, I'm going to tell you. But when I originally looked this up, this really cool more info little question mark thingy, I clicked on it. This came up and it did a really good explanation. Okay, executes deployments, the deploy user anyway, as on target computers. This is the vast majority of your deployments. Interactive, you would use that, and I'm just going to jump down to here and say, basically, if you were trying to do a user install, but they don't have user rights, you would use that there. Jordan, thoughts?
Yeah, that one's pretty. You don't need to use it a lot, but when it's needed, it's really valuable.
Yeah, even less likely to use is a local system where you do an install as a system file. Very rare. I don't know of any occasions I'd actually kick it off there.
I've never actually had to use local system.
I haven't either. And then logged on user, you can run as the logged on user. The caveat there, they need to make sure they have admin rights or can do whatever it is you're asking it to do in that case.
Yeah, that one is most common when it's something like, well, before when AppX didn't have the all users for the remove part, only the Git.
Yeah.
And things like Firefox, if a user tries to install it, they don't have rights, it installs it in their own folder. I forget the exact path, but it's not in the normal install location. To uninstall things like that is when you want to use logged on user.
Yep. Thanks.
Real quick for the previous question about the feature updates.
Yeah.
Timothy in the chat said he uses the CLI version to not allow the restart, and then he puts in a restart step and a sleep timer after, so he can kind of adjust for that better.
Very nice. I will have to try that. Thanks.
Is that a signal for a question?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do a question. Yeah, let's do a question.
All right. Hey, guys. PDQ Package, Microsoft Teams. The PowerShell that checks for existing machine-wide returns 1 equals fail if it is already installed, which means that machines are kept in endless retry queue. How to get around this? Thanks, Brian A. and W. Root Beer. Wow, sweet.
Hey, Brian.
One is a success code,
1, mark that as a success code.
because
2,
it's already installed, yeah.
okay, you're using the retry queue. I think if you've got inventory is a much better way, which actually shoehorns right into the next thing we're going to talk about, which is retry queue versus a heartbeat. Okay, so again, to go and take care of your Microsoft Teams, do I have that installed or downloaded? We could go here and pull Teams. Basically, what you're going to do, Teams. While that's going, well, Jordan, while I'm pulling that down, let's discuss retry queue versus heartbeat.
Well, real quick, in the chat, he said he can't do the success code because it's locked, because it is an auto download package. That does make it a bit more
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
interesting, yeah.
Is there a way around that?
Is there a way around that? Yeah, go in here and change it from an auto download to a under options.
But that's not really the idea.
That's not the ideal. That is true. I
Changes
agree
the,
there.
yeah. The purpose of a...
All right. So what I would do, well, maybe we'll put that to sport. If it's already installed, maybe we should have one as a success code in there. Okay, you could go into options and convert it to standard package, add the 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll send this over to the packaging team just to look at, just
take
in
a look
case,
at.
because that's something that we need to account for. We
Yeah.
definitely want to.
Yeah, if one is a success code,
Is it in here?
we'll need to know that.
Not marked here. Not marked here. Maybe it needs to be in there. Okay, heartbeat retry. Now, if you go and deploy this and put it in the retry queue, yeah, it is going to try and brute force, if it's on an hour schedule, every hour trying to install this. Obviously, you found an error that would be another reason I don't like the retry queue. I mean, okay, let's see. Heartbeat trigger, let me just show you that, right? So next time you deploy Teams, right? Right click, go to new schedule, right? Teams, thank you. Okay, heartbeat. Basically what that says when heartbeat, right? Machine goes from an offline to an online, right? So we're dealing with machines that are coming online, or you're just trying to brute force install it. Okay, when a machine comes online, it'll install it, then it'll be one attempt, which is good when it's online. Okay, the other thing you might want to do is probably build a collection that says Microsoft Teams not installed, and then you don't have to worry about the machines that are installed, and it takes care of it that way too.
That's what Kobe just put in the chat, is just point it to a collection that is not installed for Teams only.
I don't think I have Teams installed here, but let me show you how to do it for 7-zip, because I know we've got 7-zip installed a lot. And I know we've already got one of these, but to do this, when you build one that's not installed, right? So we're going to do missing 7-zip in this case. What you're going to run into is that whole one-to-many or one-to-one relationship issue, right? So we're looking for any application name that contains 7-zip, right? Now, if you go in here and you put, well, you obviously need the right filter in there too, right? Zip, 7-zip. Okay, so now I can go pull all the ones that have 7-zip. There's 16 of them, right? But I want the ones that are missing, so logically I would say does not contain, right? In this case, it's not going to work because it's going to evaluate every application. That's that one-to-many thing. Okay, so if it's got Google Chrome does not contain 7-zip, it'll qualify. If I hit that, we're going to get all the machines that have any software on there that doesn't have 7-zip, any software. To get what you're looking for, okay, think of this as a container. Go find me all the machines that have 7-zip, but don't return me any from that subcontainer right there. Give that an OK. And there's the 36 machines that are missing 7-zip. You would do the same thing with Teams in that case.
And still, with if the one needs to be in the success codes, we'll still bring that up, because
Yeah.
if we can get that added, that's definitely the way to go about it.
Agreed. Should we hit some questions at this point? Just kind of roll questions, or do you guys want me? I've got some more information we can cover, but
Yeah, we'll probably need to do a speed round.
let's go
I was
speed
about
round.
to say.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
All right, here we go. Hi, guys. Is there a way to create a collection in inventory that is between an application's current version numbers, which I have in a custom variable, and one revision behind dynamically? Meaning, if I could subtract one, for example, from the current version to calculate the previous version. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, leave that up for a sec. Create a collection.
The clock is ticking.
I'm gonna run the timeout on this.
Yeah, we're going to spend a minute just reading it.
Just reading it. Jordan? Okay, so I'm looking for a version that's an earlier version than the one I've got, but a specific earlier version? I mean, I'm trying to understand. Maybe that will help me
Well, we can't really do maths in the variables.
variable -1.
Yeah, so it'd have to be something, I don't know, outside of it, where maybe you have a second variable where you reference both of those variables if it's in either of these two.
Huh.
And then you'd have to have just a second variable that has the older version in there.
Okay, could you do, I mean, you
we do
notice
this
this
in a
variable
power-
right here, we could do a regular expression in there, right? I mean, could you do this or this, like right here, Chrome or Firefox or Opera, could version this or version that maybe?
Oh yeah, where you,
What about a PowerShell scanner?
PowerShell?
Is this
Well, we
more
already got the
is that-
versions, we have the application and the versions, right? We're just trying to,
yeah, the PowerShell scanner won't find anything new with that one. You just need a way to account for,
Yeah.
not just the latest version.
maybe try a regular expression and change that filter to a regular expression, look for this one or this one. That pipe is an or, so. Yeah, give that a try.
Yeah, either regular expressions or a second variable. And unfortunately, that leaves you with some manual updating of the variables. Where, I mean, the
Yeah.
latest one you can handle automatically, but the other one you might have to go in and just manually set that, which isn't ideal, but it would account for what you're looking for.
I think we did that under a minute.
Sure.
Under
Maybe.
all the minutes.
Maybe if you change the gravitational constant of the universe and the flow of space-time. Yeah,
That is factually
sure.
correct.
Yeah.
Next up.
All right. Hey, guys, getting a lot of packages that say preparing for a long time. What does that mean? Curtis J.
You know, Curtis, I ran into this one when we rebuilt our lab. I reinstalled. If you go to Options and Preferences, and if you go to Deploy, let's go to Deploy. Well, it'll be on both, but let's go to Deploy specifically. Preferences here. Performance right here, the Service TC Manager TCP connection. When I disabled mine, that preparing seemed to go away. Caveat, that doesn't just set it for deploying in an inventory, it's going to set it for the entire machine. So, you know, just be aware, set it. I think you may have to reboot, give it a try. I bet that'll take care of it for you. By the way, thanks, Brooke. You were the guy who hooked me up from support on fixing that one. So.
Dear Lex and Jordan, do you prefer PowerShell or CMD for your scripts? B. Womack.
It's tough for me.
Depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to Jordan.
I know it's command for you. I'm going to have to go with PowerShell, but
I just can't wrap my head around it. It's so complex.
you know, I used to be a big proponent of CMD back when there was, you know, CMD was it, but PowerShell is so much more versatile.
You were a big corn shell guy, weren't you?
Bash, baby.
Oh yeah, you're the Linux.
Linux guy. So
Yeah.
I mean, PowerShell definitely is just more versatile.
It can
so many
do
levels.
just about anything. That's why I never get asked, can you do this in PowerShell? I always just answer yes.
Yes, yeah.
There's something about an object.
Lately, I've been asking, should we do this in PowerShell?
Yeah, that's a different question.
That is.
It's generally yes, though.
All right, next up. What are some internal admin tools that you, the PDQ guys, use that you enjoy? Server monitoring, remote support, administration, etc., besides PDQ and PowerShell. Thanks, Daryl S.
This kind of seems like a phishing question. I'm going to call it out now. We like PowerShell.
Me. Tools, admin tools. Jordan?
I haven't had to do admin tasks in long enough now that anything I did use, I don't even know if is relevant anymore.
So, you know, I do a little admin work for my uncle and his accounting place, and stuff beyond PDQ is I use Nagios to keep track of servers and stuff, and it's open source and Linux, which
You have to know, if you don't know Linux, it's going to be a tough one.
It's a bit to set up. Once I use that, my favorite tool is Call of Jordan. And that basically is, I'm like, hey, Jordan, can we do this in PowerShell? He's like, why? I'm like, I just want to know if we can do it. Show me how to do it. And then I use what he does and take credit for it.
Yeah.
Little speed dial.
That's kind of what I was going to say. I call support.
Yeah, call support. There we go.
In the chat, there's been some ads like AutoHotkey or PS Tools. PS Tools.
Definitely PS
is a good
Tools.
one.
Yeah. AutoHotkey. I've had some hit and miss with AutoHotkey, so I mean, I'll use it.
It's what we use for the highlighter. I'll say that.
I like AutoHotkey, but UI automation in PowerShell, you can simulate mouse clicks or things like that as well, and then I can still use PowerShell.
Pretty much.
That's if I can do it.
That's the hammer you use for everything, even when you need a wrench.
I'm not a diverse skill set. I can't even say diverse. Is how bad it is.
Diverse.
Hey, do you want to do a blog on PowerShell UI? And part of it is how to center Windows with our application.
Yeah.
I
Kill
feel
two
like
birds with one
this,
stone.
this feels like a trap.
Wow, I feel like we're getting
It
slammed
kind of
for
is,
some
but
reason.
it's also a major help for all of us.
Yep.
All right, I will.
I think the end users like watching me waste time centering stuff.
The big snag I see is the window has to be open for this to interact with it and resize it. So we'd have to open up everything we're going to
Everything
be
you possibly
using.
use, yeah.
Well, we could do that with PowerShell, right? PowerShell UI.
Absolutely, we could.
Then yes.
Jordan's stepping away from that. All right, next.
Yeah, well, no,
Next.
it's- I was hoping this one would go away, but apparently this is something I will be doing.
We'll have a
100%.
show on it.
All right, I'll do it.
All right, so much for the speed round. Here's our next question. We use SCCM for imaging computers. Any idea of a way to use PDQ to push out SCCM images using Pixie? B. Womack.
Push out an image using Pixie. All right, the imaging process, right? Machine boots. Pixie points it at the server for the imaging, whether SCCM or whatever, right? Lays down the OS, and you want PDQ to kick that off?
So
Am I reading that
usually,
right?
what I find is The process for imaging, there's a lot of free or great tools that do that.
Yeah.
Where we come into the imaging process is after the image is done, you can add.
All machines
Other
get
deployments.
7-zip and Reader and Bluebeam and Dropbox and Chrome and Microsoft Teams and user delay. Wow, user delay happened to be there. But okay, and the nice thing again, if you nest these packages, okay, when 7-zip 19 becomes 7-zip 20, it's going to automatically update. So whatever your settings are in options for your auto downloads, that's only how far out these new machines are going to be. So lay down the OS, put the drivers on, get it on AD, kick off your baseline package, and in this case we're only going to be out 7 days, which is nice because it'll automatically fall into the scheduled services that you've already built. So
Are there any plans to add other devices or information to the inventory, say routers, printers, switches, configuration parameters, etc.? Marcel L.
yes, absolutely, it's coming in the future. Next question.
Can you kind of do this with network discovery?
We
It's
could,
not gonna
okay,
put-
you
it's not
can
gonna
find it
enter
with
it
network
into-
discovery. I don't know if that's what Marcel's asking for, but you can go into computers, add computers.
He may be asking it for it to be native in the.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah,
but
which the
network
answer is no now,
discovery
but, yeah.
is going to scan the subnet that you put in. Okay, probably a good idea to call your security guys before you do it. But and if it
Let them know that you're running a
systematic
batch.
ping of every IP in the if it returns, it gets added. Oh, also you're probably going to need to make sure you go into your Active Directory stuff here and change that from, well, this is mixed sync, so this will be good, but normally I run a full sync, which won't allow it as soon as that sync runs again. So you can get them in the future
Yeah, to Alex's point, if you have security guys,
if you have.
if you're your own security guy,
That's a good point.
by all means, run an Nmap.
Knock it out.
Those kind of questions can always be tough because we can't really go into plans for future things because we definitely can't put a timeline on it. So we can just say, yes,
Yes.
we're aware of it, but we can't go into detail. And I know that frustrates some people.
We'll have it for you tomorrow of some year in the future.
All right,
You guys got worried for a sec, didn't you?
Tomorrow's tomorrow. Full quote Shakespeare on that.
Does tomorrow ever get here?
Yeah.
Because as soon as tomorrow's today, it's not tomorrow anymore.
Today is
You know
yesterday,
what?
tomorrow.
Next question.
Forget speedrun.
Here we go. We have 4 left. Can we do it?
No.
Hey guys, we have a large inventory which sometimes causes PDQ inventory to freeze or not refresh collections. Do you recommend restarting inventory and deploy service on a schedule? B. Womack.
I would do 2 things. First, make sure you're on the latest version of inventory. That's probably the first because they've done, light years of amazing performance enhancements in these. A couple of things I would look at, okay? First thing, what kind of scans are you running? What kind of data you're collecting? Because if you have stuff that you're not using that you're collecting, the database is going to expand. And as your database gets larger, they become more cumbersome. On that note, if you go to Preferences, Database, my database is 7.1 megabytes. That's because I only have 52 machines in my lab here. But periodically, you need to optimize this database. It is going to, clean it, basically run a database vacuum, compress it, make it nice and clean. That will help. Jordan, what else would help?
Those are the main ones that will take care of it. If you're still having issues, nothing's hurt by restarting the background services periodically.
Yeah.
And that works for you, I'd say have at it. But hopefully with the newer version in these settings, you won't need to.
Won't need to reboot services or restart services. Yeah.
All right, 3 more to go. Inventory has the heartbeat checking. Can it send a notification if a system fails the heartbeat? Or Kenyon.
I'm not sure what they mean by fails the heartbeat because that's just it checks in or
Because it's
not.
offline?
Yeah,
If it was a heartbeat, it's offline?
If it goes to offline, the online is going to. If you're looking for if the deployment fails after the heartbeat comes in, it won't leave the schedule timer at that time. Next heartbeat will try again at that point.
It will, or
It
the
will
next
only
scheduled
stop trying if the install is
Succeeds.
successful.
Now, are we trying to determine a machine has gone offline? So it goes from a yes to a no. There is no native way to do that. I bet if you do what I do for my network tools and say, ask a Jordan, I bet he could probably write something that would do that in PowerShell. You could do that in PowerShell. Again, it's not native. So
All right, guys, non-domain Windows devices fall off from PDQ Inventory. Any suggestions would be appreciated. Sincerely, Sonner S.
The first thing I check is the AD sync.
AD sync right here. Your delete mode. Okay.
Full sync. Yep.
Your work, okay, full sync. You're probably in full sync. That means anything that's not an AD gets deleted. Okay, so your work group machines, not an AD, they're going to get deleted. Need to either put it in import or mixed sync. The nice thing about mixed sync is anything that's added as AD, let me show you how to see that, right, is going to be maintained by AD, and anything added by hand. So we go up here, I believe it's added from right there. We'll add that. We'll also put that right up at the front. So AD sync network discovery, see, there's a default machine. So yeah, put that to mixed sync or import only, you'll be good to go. They won't disappear after that. You'll have to make them disappear if they need to go, if they're not part of the AD sync. So,
And our final question, not so much a question, a possible solution. Hey guys, for certain feature upgrades like Windows 10 or applications that require a restart, have you thought about adding PDQ Step that would add a persistent service that would call back to the PDQ server when the install was complete after reboot? This would possibly overcome the timeout issue. Sincerely, Darrell S.
hey, Daryl, in all actuality, on a reboot, we do wait for the response to come back. In the case of the feature upgrade, it just timed out. So the other thing you could do, and I wouldn't leave this permanently, but you could go in here and deploy under preferences, deployments, and change your timeout, extend that to some ungodly long number to do your feature updates, and then I'd change it back afterwards, like 90 minutes. So that's one way to take care of that. So easy way. So, well, guys, that was lesser known features and lesser typing for me. Thank you. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm Lex from PDQ.com. Catch you later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today, and thank you so much for all the questions. We may actually do a Lesser Features Volume 2. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to our support forums. Thanks again, and we'll see you back here next week.